I was born in a very small town. I'm like always so excited when people know it. It's called Blairstown, New Jersey. It
Oh
is
my gosh.
farmland. My house was on 2 acres. It overlooked the Kittatinny Mountains. And then when I was 8, my parents decided to move to Florida because my grandparents were already there. And they were in another small town, but it was beachy. And it's called Vero Beach, Florida.
Yes, I haven't been. I know
You've
exactly
heard of
where.
it?
Yes, I have.
Wow.
Vero Beach, I definitely have. Okay, so you came from New Jersey to Florida. How was that change? Was there like an impact? Was it
It's so
very
funny.
different?
It's so funny because I speak about this in therapy.
Oh,
Um,
I love that.
we talk about
I
this.
love
She's
therapy.
like, "Your first disappointment was moving to Florida." And I'm like, "No, it wasn't. I was so excited as a child." But this is like my parents selling it to me, right? Like, "We're moving to
Right.
Florida." And like, what do I know as an 8-year-old? So I was super excited to move to Florida. But then here's the thing, you get there and you're like, this is not the same. I mean, I was like, when I was a kid in New Jersey, I was running around on 2 acres of land, just like playing pretend all the time, outside all day. I
Yeah.
was in contact with coyotes and bears. Like there were like live dangerous animals around me. So it was like
Wow.
that was exciting. And then you get to Florida and it's like very, you know, the cookie cutter houses, the gated communities. And I was still running around and having fun, but it was definitely not the same.
Yeah, it's also like a different place. I'm also not from, well, I'm from Colombia, so imagine it was like even more of
Where in Colombia are you from?
Bogota, which is like the capital,
Yes.
but it's just so different. I mean, it's night and day. There's nothing similar. It's more similar to go to New York, if anything.
Yeah.
Um, but moving here was such a culture shock, I think. So I was wondering if it was the same for you getting here. Like you kind of look like you're different, right? Like even in cliques in school, I had a
Yeah, I
really hard
experienced
time.
that. I experienced that heavily.
Yeah, right? Like you people like notice that you're not. I'm sure everyone feels this way that they're not from like here, that they
Mhm.
move here. Um, so it took you a little bit to adjust, but eventually you ended up adjusting, would you say?
Yeah, I ended up making friends. I mean, it was hard because I had switched schools a couple times when I moved to Florida, so it was like, "Oh, I gotta start all over again," and, um, I was, like, in 3 different elementary schools throughout my childhood.
Wow.
So it was, like, hard to make friends because 'cause you're
Yeah.
constantly moving.
Yeah.
Um, but it ended up working out. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
I don't have any, like I don't I think I like my childhood. I had a good childhood.
You had a good childhood. And then when did you first have the that encounter with the art of was it theater first or film or acting in general?
So, I had always my mom was always very into pop culture, so I always had, like, the wherewithal of, like, celebrities and movies and TV, and, my parents let me watch a lot of stuff before I should have, if that makes
Like
sense.
what? Give me an example.
Like, I remember watching Van Helsing as a child,
Okay, I've never
which
watched it.
Van Helsing is, like, such good, campy fun,
Mm-hmm.
but I remember watching that, and I mean, that could be kind of, like, scary and, like, too sexual for a child, but I definitely watched it. I mean,
Uh-huh.
those vampiresses, I forget how you say that, but the 3
Yeah.
witches or not the witches,
The
the 3 vampires in Van
Charmed?
Helsing? No, 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 there's
Oh, it's the
3
actual show you're talking about.
in the movie Van Helsing, there's these 3 vampires, Dracula's brides, and I was obsessed with them because their costumes were
Wow.
just so intricate and beautiful.
Yeah.
But, like, movies like that, my mom let me watch Rent, the musical, when I was a kid,
I
so that
actually
really
already showed my daughter Rent. I
yeah,
love
okay,
Rent.
so is it age appropriate? Like, kids can watch it.
I mean, she didn't
They don't know
really,
what's
she
going on,
didn't like
really.
sit there and be, um, but yeah, I love Rent. That's one of my favorite musicals. So you were exposed really early on to really good material
Yes,
that you were able
yes,
to
my
like get
parents
inspiration from.
my parents have impeccable taste
A1.
in
I
film and
love that.
television.
So you knew you wanted to kind of be in that world.
It's like I wanted to, but I didn't think it was, like, serious. I think that's a lot of people's thoughts about it, like, "Oh, this is a thing you can actually do," but
Yeah.
I didn't even actually perform really until I was 11, I think I was, when I was in Annie,
Oh, that
and
was your
that was
first project?
that was my first, not really, it was the cow jumped over the moon, but, I don't even really have a memory of it, so I don't even
Mhm.
count it, but Annie the
Yeah.
musical was, like, the first, like, live production I was a part of.
Oh, wow.
I think I was
Ho
in 7th grade.
how do you make the decision? This is, like, the hardest decision, I think, for an artist coming out of high school to move to New York, because I think that's what you did right after high school.
I stayed in Miami, well, out of high school, I moved to Miami, and I
Okay.
went to college in Miami, New World School of the Arts,
Downtown. Shout
downtown.
out. How was that experience for you? Because I remember hearing New World back in the day was a huge deal. Like if
So
you
this
got
is the
into New
thing.
World,
No, 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 but this is the thing. The high school is actually, like, way more reputable than the college is.
you went to high school there?
I went to
No,
the college. I went to the college.
got
Which the
it.
program you're getting the same training, but this is the thing, when a high schooler is getting a college level training, of course, they're gonna be stronger faster.
Yeah,
So, I went to college there. A lot of people have different experiences. If you speak to anyone that goes to New World, you'll get a different background, you'll get a different personal experience. I
different
enjoyed
world.
myself.
You liked it. You had a good
There were some
experience.
years that were hard, and I thought about leaving, but I stuck it out and I enjoyed myself.
It didn't leave any like a feeling of, oh, I might not be good enough for this. I might not go for this. That was
The th
really hard.
the thing is when you're in conservatory, they don't really touch upon the business too much. They do, like, your 2nd semester of senior year, and then that's
Right.
when the wheels start turning and you're like, "Oh, this is a business. This is not something that people do for fun," you
At
know?
all. It
Be
some people do for fun, but they won't like
Yeah, but to
it
actually
won't be
pursue
yeah,
it and be a professional, it's a business,
it's a
and that's
business.
that's honestly something I'm still trying to come to terms with.
Yeah, that doesn't get explained. Or I think the importance of having an actual job while you try and pursue it.
Yeah, the balance of that.
Like I think the stories back in the day of Hollywood, like Heath Ledger living in a car,
Mhm,
that's his story. But I
mhm.
don't think a lot of actors should take that as a playbook because that was like his experience and it sounds really like in a way cool, I think, to be
Yeah,
like, oh, I went and I lived in a car, but and he ended up making it, sadly tragically passed away super young. I would have loved to see it, but I think it is important to let people know in whatever school they're at, whether it's theater or film or whatever, that it is important to have a job
yeah, to
while you're
sustain
trying to
yourself.
make it. That's like the main thing. Whatever job it is,
Yeah.
like making
I
coffee
mean,
or
it's what works for you. It's what
exactly,
allows you to build upon your dreams.
exactly. So you finish New World,
Yeah.
and then what did that look like for you?
I stayed in Miami for another year,
Mm-hmm.
and, I was booking roles, and then COVID hit.
Mm,
And I thought to myself, I've always wanted to live in New York, but I was really considering Los Angeles. Like, actually, 6 months prior, I had gone to LA because I wanted to see what it was like. I had never gone. And I like LA, but it's just not my speed. So I was like, I don't know if that's the right move. And I only had a couple friends out there. So, whereas in New York, I had a whole entire community already.
well, you're from New Jersey.
Yeah, yeah.
So you did you have family there?
I do have family in Jersey, but we're just not close anymore.
Yeah.
So it's, like, kind of awkward.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
But you have a
but
community in New
but I
York
had a
City.
community because I had people that I knew from college.
Oh, okay.
So once I decided to move to New York, I was moving into a house with people I knew,
Mm-hmm.
people that I had gone to school with.
Yeah, it wasn't like completely foreign for you,
Yeah, it
right?
was more comfortable, certainly, because, like, if I were to move to LA, I would have been during COVID nonetheless. I moved during 2020. If I moved to LA during COVID, I would have been completely isolated. I would have known nobody.
I have a question. Do you think it was smart? Like, do you agree with the that the decision to move to New York first was the best decision for you?
I can't imagine it any other way.
Yeah.
I'm happy that I'm in New York. I love New York. I've always seen myself it's funny because I was going through my old Tumblr posts, like, a
Oh,
couple
I
months
love
ago,
that. Me too.
and I saw I had written, like, "I can't wait to be living in New York," well, and then I was reading that as I was living I was like, "Wow, this really came true."
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's what you always wanted to do. New York is such an incredible city. And I think also to live in New York, you have to be a very strong person. Um,
Yeah.
if you fall, you there's no one else to, especially when there's other cases of people moving there by themselves,
Yeah.
like they don't know anyone else. If you fall, you have to get back up yourself. You can't expect anyone else to do it for you.
I don't know if I would have been able to move if I wasn't moving in with people I knew. Because me at home is, like, so cherished, like, I my space is very important to me, so if I was living with strangers, it would have been really hard.
I can't imagine. I can't imagine. You also, so wait, you moved to New York. Well, what has been like the best project you've been part of since you've been in
The
New York?
the best project there's so many because like, I forget about stuff that I've done.
Yeah, you've done a lot. You've done a lot.
Um, Most recently, I worked on a very like, a small indie project. She was a student filmmaker, um, but it was a role where I played 5 people. And I loved the writing. I immediately signed on because I was like, "I love how this is written. It's wacky, it's crazy, but if I get to play 5 different distinct characters interacting with myself,
Yeah,
and I'm with a student filmmaker who, like, really has a vision and believes in her
she
creative
has
endeavor."
passion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and it was like guerrilla shooting, like, we're just in Jersey riding around in a car shooting, like, the cops were called on
I
us,
think
like,
that's the best. I
it
think
was
that's
just
the
fun.
best. So fun.
Yeah.
I think I love when I see students make their films. Like they have some 24-hour film festivals where like they give you a word and you have to go around the town and make the story and make it
Yeah.
happen. I think that is just such a nice challenge and is something that you live and you never forget. So that's beautiful. You also model though. You model?
This is the thing, I don't model professionally per se, I have, I've booked modeling gigs, but I can't confidently say right now I'm a model, but
Right.
I love to craft my own conceptual photo shoots. My friend, Milton, we would constantly just come up with stuff and do it just for fun, like,
Yeah.
we had no end goal other than to just create. Um,
If you had to pick between acting in film or in theater,
mm,
what's like if you were like if I told you, you know what, from now on you get to act, but you only have to pick one, what would it be?
theater.
Theater 100%. You've done more projects in theater than in film,
I've done
correct?
more film than I have theater.
Really?
Yeah. But that's just me choosing to pursue film because it's, like, more accessible. I don't know, for me personally, it was just more accessible at the time.
Yeah.
Um, but every time I do film, I'm reminded of, like because I studied theater. I didn't study film, I studied theater.
Yeah.
And nothing comes close to the camaraderie of theater
Mm-hmm.
and, like, the relationships you build with a cast,
Mm.
spending hours on end with people, um, and just the aspect of live performance always always got me excited.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas with film, I enjoy film because it's a totally different medium. I mean, the approach to the work is different in my opinion for me personally. Um, and it's just not as electric as theater is.
Mm-hmm. I can I can see that. I can
Yeah.
definitely see that. Um, what's like the biggest challenge you think you're facing today from where you are in the acting world, in the
M
industry, and in New York specifically?
Myself, I feel like I'm my biggest obstacle.
In what sense? What do you mean?
In the sense of, like, developing discipline, being disciplined and just, like, hitting the ground, submitting constantly because I tend to get caught up in the minutia of life and just, keeping up with that, and also just, like, the belief in one's self.
Hmm.
Like, I'm working on that self-talk.
Yeah, like you tend to struggle with that negative, like you tell yourself, like you're not gonna do that. Like,
Yeah.
And how do you get out of that?
You have to trick yourself sometimes
Yeah.
because it's like you say it, even if you don't believe it, it's in the air. The universe is now aware. But sometimes, I mean, you don't even believe it yourself, but you just have to trick yourself. And I'm getting used to that. I'm getting used to saying it out loud and then believing it.
Who's your like biggest supporter that like
My,
you're who?
I would say my biggest supporter is my boyfriend.
Okay. Hi.
Reveal.
Oh, got a boyfriend, girl. Love that for you. I'm so
Yeah.
happy for you. That's awesome. Is he in the same industry?
What's funny is we actually did go to school together, but then his life took a different path. He's now in a totally different field, but he's still a creative. He's still very,
What field is his?
he's actually an airplane mechanic.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So he works with sheet metal. He's very, very good at that.
And he lives in New York with you.
No, he lives in Florida. We're long
Oh,
distance.
long
We've been
distance.
long distance for 3 years now. It's hard.
I've heard it's hard, but you
We've
guys are
known
making
each
it work.
other
3 years is
we've
a long
known each
time.
other for over a decade now, though. So,
Okay, so you guys were friends first, which
yes,
helps, I think.
1000%.
Yeah. Any plans on moving in together or
Yeah, I
something?
mean, we talk about it. It's a conversation that comes up a lot because it's like we want to plan a life together, and it's, long distance is not sustainable um
Yeah, I
up to
imagine.
a certain point. But we as of right now make it work, but yeah, we're considering certain things cuz his job takes him all over the world too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And I love that he supports you. I think being with someone that supports you is extremely important. If not, it would be just way harder for
Yeah.
you too.
Yeah.
Um, what role has stayed with you off camera,
That's
if
a good
any?
question. That's a good question. I'm gonna have to consider that. Hold on. There are so many that I think of that still stay with me. You know what sticks with me? There are certain, like, roles in college that stick with me for some reason. And
That's
it's like
interesting.
but I don't know if I want that to be my answer. Hold on.
You're like, I like those, but there has to be one more.
Yeah, there has to be another one.
We can go back to that question. You can
Okay.
also, there's a
Okay.
mosquito rounding me up. I'm so confused. Maybe it's from the plant.
Role that's
Um, is there a character you won't ever play?
um, no, I mean, no, I've never thought of that. I've never thought, "Oh, I'll never play a role like that."
Really? At all?
I guess I just have never considered that.
You're very open
I
to
I mean,
everything.
I'm open to roles as long as they're well written, especially for
Mm,
female characters, because a lot of the times it's like, this is just a trope or this is just from a man's perspective. So it's like it's really it comes down to the writing of
isn't
the
it so
character.
noticeable when a man writes women?
Yeah.
It's very noticeable. That's something that you look at later on, especially when you become a writer or like you're trying to write your own things.
Yeah.
When I write for male, like for men,
Yeah.
I tend to always send it to male friends in the industry, like to make
Mhm.
if it makes first my husband, right? Like, does this make sense? Like, would this because it goes vice versa too.
It's
Like
true.
sometimes women write for men and you're like, a man would never say that. Like it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Something that I think we would want them to say, but it's not realistic to me. So it's the same with women. Um, would you still act if no one ever saw your work? Like if a few people, when I mean no one, is like that you're not like this famous, like Oscar winning actress.
Oh, well, that's me right now.
Exactly.
Like, that's me right now. So yeah.
But your goal is not to like be famous and like be known and explode in the world.
I mean, certainly that was a dream when I was younger. And like, of course, I feel like performers, like they fantasize about um the fame and the stardom. But when you really think about that life, it is not desirable for me personally.
I
I
agree.
would, I really, that's a monster that I'm just not willing to battle.
But you would be happy performing Broadway or somewhere
Oh my god,
like
yeah.
Broadway, like making your theater. I totally see you. Like
I
I
always
totally see you.
I always say I wanna be recognized for my work, but I don't wanna be famous for it.
Mm-hmm. I love that. There's I don't know if you watched Love Story, the story of
No,
Zoe
I
Kay and
haven't.
John F. K. Um, well, the actress you saw you. I think she lives in New York. I could be
She's
wrong.
underground, isn't she? She's up and coming.
Yeah, she did an incredible job, and this definitely lifted her up. But she was in the subway, and she had a tote bag that said "known but not famous."
Mhm,
And I
mhm.
love that for her because I think fame is one of the worst monsters there are.
Yeah,
But I totally see you doing all these plays and being in New York and being just working off from it one day. I definitely like see that.
me too.
I'm so excited for you. Yeah. Um, what is something, and I leave the acting segment of it with this last question, which is what is something about this industry that looks beautiful from the outside, but from inside it feels heavy?
I mean, it's definitely, like, the outcome of the work, right? But it's like like, the finished product, like, the movie or the play, the
Hmm.
musical, but it's, like, all the work that it took to get there.
So would you say like your favorite part is the journey, not necessarily like the outcome of that one project?
That's what I'm falling into right now. I'm really just, like, doing things for the fun of it and
Hmm.
for, like, the journey that it takes me on rather than the outcome of it all.
Are you currently working on something?
Right now, I'm writing a screenplay, like, that's what I'm putting all my energy into.
Love that.
Um, so yeah, that's been interesting.
Screenplay is theater, correct?
No, this is for, the screen.
Oh yeah, screenplay.
Yeah, yeah.
um, wow, feature film or short film?
Feature film, full
Feature
length.
film.
Yeah,
You're writing it on your own?
yeah.
And then your plans are to what, send it off to competition or try and do it yourself?
Either right now, I haven't gotten there,
Yeah.
but yeah, I could see myself submitting to some festivals, seeing where that goes,
That's such a great idea. So
yeah.
maybe you can get some help, or you could always do it yourself. I think we live in a world where you can just get your iPhone. I mean, not necessarily owning
No,
your
it's
iPhone,
true.
but go out there and film whatever it is. And a lot of the best directors, like Spike Lee, David Lynch, their student films, if you watch them, you're like, oh my God, like they weren't the best, but they just filmed. They just went out there and did their thing. And I think
Yeah,
that's something that creators need to do more of, including myself, because sometimes we get stuck in perfection of like, oh, but it needs to be perfect and we need to have a camera guy and a, well, camera guy, obviously, but not
mm,
like this, like bougie or it could just happen
because
anywhere.
the only way for things to get better is if you practice it, and if
Exactly.
you put it out there, and then you build upon all these
Yeah.
pursuits.
Yeah. And you know what? Like, there's a big possibility that there's going to be an audience that won't like your work, because that's
Mhm.
something that we don't think about, but then there's always going to be an audience that is going to like your work, and
Yeah,
you have to focus all your attention on the people that will like it,
yeah.
other than the other way. um wow, okay, so that's amazing. I can't wait to see what you're working on. And you picked The Fifth Element. That
I
movie is so
did.
specific and
Yeah.
so iconic. Why did you pick it though? Like, is there a specific reason right now?
Well, it's a movie that I think about more often than not, to be honest. It just has stayed with me, and it's a movie that my dad introduced me to when I was a kid, and it's, like, one of those movies that you see as a kid, and you're like, "Wow, movies can be like this?
Mm-hmm.
Like, movies can be this wacky, and, like, the costumes can be this crazy, and characters can be this way?" Um, and then I watched it this past week because I hadn't seen it in a couple years,
Yeah.
and it still holds. It's still
It's such
so
a
good.
weird film,
Yeah,
but you're
but
still,
in essence, it's not. It's about the battle of good versus evil,
you
period.
think so?
Yeah, because Lilu is like this she is the 5th element, but she's
Mm-hmm.
the 5th element that is going to be the reason this celestial evil doesn't crash into Earth.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But I feel like you get that later on. I think when you first see the movie, you're like, what is happening? I didn't even remember Luke Perry being part of the film. When I saw him in the
I
intro, I'm like,
know.
Luke Perry's in this?
I
That
know.
happens all the time. And not only that, I didn't remember the intro at all. I only remember the world and how it made me feel.
Yes.
Like that sci-fi. And it's weird because why do you think this sci-fi film is different from the others?
Well, like, what other sci-fi films?
Like for example, Star Wars or
Okay.
you know, what's that
Well,
one?
because I think Star Wars is like a saga, right? So, like,
Right.
there are arcs that go on for movies, like
Yeah.
multiple movies, whereas, like, The Fifth Element is condensed
Mm-hmm.
and it's campy, you know? It's
Yeah.
it has, like it's humorous. It's not too serious.
It's yeah, and I think also it has a lot of like pop culture entangled and
I didn't
in
realize there
like
was
the
so much product placement. The
isn't that
McDonald's, the
crazy? The
Chanel. I was
Chanel,
like,
which I wish that was real
I
today,
know,
that
I
you could
know.
just do your makeup immediately.
You telling me.
Um, I'm trying to see. I'm trying to see what the other one I was gonna tell you about. Yeah, because if you look at like for example, would Star Wars be a sci-fi movie? Yeah.
It's sci-fi, yeah.
But also like you see other ones that I think what makes this one different is just the style and what he brings to it, like all the outfit changes, the makeup.
Yeah.
Um, why do you think that opera scene is so iconic?
Because for me, it's like you're listening to the opera and it's like a traditional operatic. And then it goes into like this modern like dance moves where she's like and you're just
Yeah.
like, "What?" But I love it.
No, I love
Um,
it.
and I love the
Um,
twist of like she's carrying the rocks within her.
mhm.
Just so unexpected.
No, it's so different. It's such a French film in a way. French films have always been very aesthetically pleasing, in my opinion, for me.
Yeah, yeah. The aesthetic is strong in that
It's
movie for
so
sure.
strong, which is actually it was a movement in that time called cinema de look,
Oh,
which it
really?
was when they would rely heavily more on the aesthetics. And there's like a quote that I wrote down that I found, and I had no idea about this movement. And it was favoring style over substance and
Okay.
spectacle over
True.
narrative, which
True.
is like that impact of like the blue alien opera singer.
Yeah.
It leaves an
You remember the
impactful
imagery.
image.
Yeah, you
Yes,
remember
like
the
they
imagery.
see Fifth Element, and one of my favorite scenes is when what's his name is singing through the halls, the
The
famous
MC?
the MC,
Yeah,
and the costume design, and just bigger than life
yeah.
and weird. Um, the did you know that the opera singer at that time was the director's wife?
No.
Well, it's interesting. I didn't know any
So,
of this.
Luc Besson, that's his wife?
That was his wife at that time before he got with the actress that plays Lilu.
He got with Mila Jovovich?
Yeah, they got
Oh
married.
god, oh my
He's had
god.
4 wives,
The scandal.
but it is a little. I had no idea that this was the same director from Leon the Professional.
Yes, I did know that, I did know that.
And I think Leon the Professional is heavily inspired on his relationship with the opera singer.
Okay.
And because apparently, allegedly, she was 12 when they started talking. They got married when she was 15 and he was 28,
Oh my god,
and had his first kid when she was 16. During the film, she was 21, and then he left, like they separated, and he got with the actress.
I'm
I
disturbed.
was like,
Okay.
what?
But okay, that aside, you see the
Yeah.
parallel with the villain is Gary Oldman.
Yeah.
That's something I remembered when I was watching The Fifth Element. I was like, "There's some connection between Luc Besson and Gary Oldman, and it's Leon the Professional." But that factoid
And
is crazy.
Leon the Professional, I remember I've never watched it till late in my 20s.
Yeah.
And I remember feeling weird about watching that film
It's kind of strange, their
because we're in a
relationship.
different time and we're more aware and people are, more outspoken about, the age difference. And
Yeah.
it was a very weird film. Um, but as again, aesthetically pleasing. It's like
Mhm.
her walk is little choices that these directors and writers make that stay with you for a really long time.
Yeah.
So that was something I was searching last night, and I'm like, okay, makes sense that he did. And then he also did Lucy, which that is my favorite film that he's made
With Scarlett
with,
Johansson.
yes, just because I love that so much. Like,
Well, I
it
love
comes
female
from Ghost in the Shell.
heroines. I love anytime a
Yes.
female is in an action movie, I am sat.
I mean, Lilo, it's
Thank you.
been
That's
the Halloween costume for a lot of women throughout the years.
yeah.
I see her as Sarah Connor from The Terminator,
Yeah.
or Lara Croft,
Don't even get me
the
started.
Angelina Jolie version.
Yes.
No offense with the other one. I just think Angelina Jolie is Lara
No,
Croft. I
she's
don't see
top
anyone
tier.
else. No
Top
one else.
tier.
But yeah, that was an interesting fact I didn't know about. The cinema de look movement, I think, is really interesting. I have to go through that list and see the films. Watch the films. And then would what would you have done different if you had played Lilo?
What would I have done differently? The thing is, it's not necessarily
Mhm.
the fault of the actor, but the love story to me is kind of like, are we for real? Like, is this
Yeah.
necessary?
Yeah. Yes. I was gonna
Like,
ask
I'm
you about
sorry, how
that.
did you fall in love with him? I It
Weird,
doesn't make
right?
sense. It just doesn't make
But
sense.
doesn't it now kind of connect psychologically to, like, because I see Lilo, right? I was watching yesterday, like, especially the beginning scenes, that they see her as like this, like, perfection, young, this,
Yeah.
like, she's like
It's the
this
parallel with
doll.
Leon the
And
Professional.
then you see this older man surrounding her, like, oh, she's perfect. And I
Yes.
think where we live now, I'm more consciously aware of all those little things in movies because I
Same.
think sadly and tragically pedophilia is so
Rampant.
we see it all the time now everywhere, and you're
Yeah.
just like, how did I not? And it's been happening for a long time. I mean, back in the day, like, a lot of grandparents, they got married and they're like 10-year difference. The girl was 13, they were like way
Yeah.
older, and it was normal to them in music, in everything. I feel
Yeah.
like there's always been that age gap. But now I watching the film, I'm like, yeah, I don't see how they would fall in love. Like, I
And it's
think
also just
makes me also very
unnecessary.
uncomfortable. Just like Leon the Professional, when I was watching, I'm like, oh my God, like, this is a child and this is an old man.
Yeah.
How does that work? And
Yeah. And
for
it's
so
also
long, we all love
because, like,
that.
even mentally, she's a child.
She doesn't
It's
even
not
speak
just
the language.
exactly.
Would that connect to, like, a young kid, like, not being able to have a conversation with an older guy, and the older guy just looking at how she looks and wanting to be with her?
Mhm. The way I remember that scene
We're
where,
like, wait a
like,
second.
she's sleeping and he kisses her. Like, what
Non-consensual,
the
first of
fuck?
all.
I know! I was like, "What
Isn't
the
it
fuck is going
so
on?"
weird? And it's kind of, I think now watching iconic films, a lot of things have changed that as when we were younger, we didn't see as weird.
Yeah.
We didn't look into it. We didn't break it apart. Now we do. And, but maybe that's why, that's just me in the subconscious, like, being little, you would like the older guy, or like the older guy would talk to you and like, oh, it's because I'm like, I look older, and it's like,
Oh,
no,
no.
the guy has issues, he
I think
shouldn't be
that's
talking to such a young girl.
maybe I speak for myself, but I feel like that's, like, a quintessential female experience. Like, you think that older male attention is, like, somehow validating, but then, like, you get older and you're like, "Oh, that was just creepy."
Creepy. And you
Yeah.
look back and you're like, oh, I thought I was so mature, I was a child.
That part.
Like, I was a child, you had no business hanging
Yeah.
out with me.
Yeah.
um and it's weird, but I think because of Hollywood and how it's been,
Normalized.
normalized. So you never thought like, oh, I'm sure if I saw Leon the Professional when I was younger, I would have been like, oh, that's such a cool movie.
Yeah.
Versus now at like 20, then you become a mom, you're like, this is weird.
Well,
Like
I like to refer to Hollywood as Holly weird because that's what
Holly
it is.
weird. I
It's
wouldn't want to be part of that
weird
at
out
all.
there.
So weird. And I think that's why I think we are living in a new era of film and acting where filmmakers are deciding to go independent. um Big shout out to A24. I love them, and I mean now they're more incorporated into, but when they started it was like a weird like
Right.
company. You saw, oh, it's an A24 film, it's going to be really good. And I'm not saying, I mean, you have to keep moving up. It's,
Yeah.
I don't know what their world looks like, but I think we live in a world where it's like, as creators, I think the happiness lies in creating, not necessarily, and I'm just speaking for people I've spoken to and myself, like
Yeah.
I'm happy creating, but I'm not trying to get anywhere. Like I'm not trying to
Yeah.
be in Holly weird, or I think it comes with a lot, and you can tell when all these conspiracy theories of like clones and the pedophilia ring and the
Yeah.
Illuminati and all this stuff comes from how weird it can look.
Well, it also comes from the Epstein files, but
Epstein files is
that is a whole other
insane.
subject.
I
Um,
know. Did you see the West Palm Beach thing? The West Palm Pete? Is that his name? You never
no.
saw that?
Oh, the guy who looks like Epstein, but it's
That
not
looks
actually.
so much like
Yeah.
him.
I briefly saw that online,
And
yeah.
then he's like, I call it the hipster form of Epstein. He speaks very like, and he's like, no, I'm in West Palm, but apparently he did party with Epstein, and everyone's like, what's happening here? Like we're living in
Well,
a,
Palm Beach is very small. All those elite people, they all know each other.
who would have thought that in Florida? Because there's this podcast called White Underbelly, I think it's called,
Mm,
where it's this man who interviews many people, families, like some struggling with addiction, homelessness, sex work, like people in sex work, or pimps. I mean,
mhm.
he talks to doctors, everyone. But now
Oh,
every
is this a YouTube
Saturday,
series?
yes,
I
it's like
have
black and
seen
white.
I have seen a couple of these, yeah.
Well, he's now interviewing Epstein survivors every Saturday.
Wow.
And I've heard three now. And you're just like, man, Florida was a freaking hub for pedophiles.
Yeah.
Like they were so close and we had no idea.
Yeah.
And it's really scary.
But it makes sense because Florida protects men.
Mm,
Like the laws themselves.
wow. I never thought it that way. But yeah,
But I mean, just think about like abortion. Like they
yeah.
don't want women to have freedom of choice. Um, and then West Palm Beach itself is so small, and fun fact, it's the most expensive real estate in the country.
Mm,
So it attracts people
yeah,
of
it
that
attracts people
status.
with,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think, yeah, the Epstein files is another conversation. But you start
For
seeing
sure.
it everywhere, and then all these directors just being, it's always happened. And I guess, but anyway, The Fifth Element overall, great film.
Yeah.
If you lived in that world,
Mhm.
what job would you have?
Immediately flight attendant just for those
I
cunty
knew it.
outfits. Just for those outfits though, right?
I would have, I totally see you. I was like, I
But
totally see Harley.
I mean, imagine the extravagance of living the opera singer's life.
Oh, yeah.
Like being
100%.
she has like the veil.
Oh, I do have to say something about this because when I was finding out all of this yesterday, it
Mhm.
wasn't also like the French culture, I think, has always, it's not just America, you
Mhm.
know? It's Colombia, it's everywhere, of, older men getting with younger women.
Yeah.
But the opera singer doesn't have anything bad to say about him. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
she's like, yeah, I was his wife, kind of situation.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to clear that out because I didn't want to make it look like this young girl was like she outspoken. Um, if would you go watch it if it was remade today? You know how they're remaking all these
I
films,
know.
and some people feel very strongly about, just leave it alone. But if this was to be remade with new characters, would you go watch it?
No, because
I love your honest, immediate
it's
answer.
it's already made and it's already good. Sure, it has its faults, but I'm interested in new stories. I'm interested in new characters, and the only reason Hollywood is doing this is because the IP is there and it's cheaper.
Mhm.
So they don't have to
Yeah.
pay for rights, they don't, and they don't have to pay
Oh, I didn't know
people for
that.
their
I thought they
stories
were
and stuff
just
like that.
like trying to make the Gen Z generation.
No, it's because these studios own the IP and so that they can create. Please correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But but yeah, it's just because the material is already there, so it's like cheap and easy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're
Um,
remaking a lot of things. I actually
it's
didn't want to
never
watch.
ending.
The only, it's like I'm torn. 'Cause I can't, to be honest. When Freakier Friday came out,
Yeah.
I was at the cinema with my mother because that was a movie that we watched when I was 10.
And
And it
did it
was,
live up to the hype?
yes, I was singing in the
Really?
theater. I was crying. My first crush ever was Shawn Michael Murray.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my
You
God.
know, he's another guy who was dating a high schooler when he was on what's the show he was on, the
One
CW?
Tree Hill?
Yeah, he was dating a
I
high
didn't know
schooler.
that.
He
I
went
didn't
to
know
her
that.
prom,
No way.
but they kicked him out because he was too old.
Oh, that's so funny. Oh
He's
my
another one.
gosh.
But I get it
Yeah.
because he was
No,
very attractive back
no,
then.
I mean, who's the high schooler? I'm kidding. Um, the most popular girl in that year.
You know.
No, I mean that sounds weird. And I think a lot, even women too. I remember I was just listening to Hilary Duff, was it? And she got invited to prom, but she said that like she didn't date the people that she went to prom with. It was just like, a lot of these actors started really young. They didn't have a prom. So that
Yeah.
was like I think they would get invited. I don't know his situation. But yeah, and then I'm already asking my mom to come with me and watch The Devil Wears Prada too.
I'm excited for that one.
I'm excited for it, I
But it's
think
not a remake, it's a sequel.
it's a sequel. So I guess that's the difference. And
Yeah.
like I think when you grab right now, I read 13 going on 30, they're gonna remake it with
Oh,
new
wow.
actors and this and that.
I would
That's
prefer a sequel.
different.
I
A
prefer a
sequel.
sequel.
I'm all down for sequels.
Why are we remaking
Remakes,
it? It's
I don't know.
good. That movie
Well,
makes me cry so hard every time.
the only one I'm excited about though is Heat. I think
No
Austin
way. The Al Pacino,
Butler
Robert De Niro
and
one?
Michael B. Jordan, is it?
Wait, Michael B.
No,
Jordan and who?
Austin Butler, I
Oh,
think.
okay.
I
Wh
need to
why
verify
why
this.
them? I don't know. I don't
But you
know.
see little things like
These
that, I'm like,
choices.
okay. And it sucks for the actors, right? Because I think 13 going on 30, those two actors seem very legit and like I would be very excited to like for them. Imagine you
Yeah.
get like one of the most like but for
It's not their
us,
fault, but it's
especially
not their
millennials,
fault.
I know exactly. So that's why it's kind of sucky. But
I mean, I
Heat,
would take the role. It's an amazing opportunity.
it says that Michael Mann is developing a film adaptation of his novel Heat 2. Oh, but I think it's gonna be casting rumors, Adam Driver, Austin Butler. I don't know. It might not even be real, but they be putting all this all the time. So, okay. I want to end this with something like fun slash would you rather, have you ever, and
Okay.
just silly questions. So the first one is who was your first celebrity crush, or who is your celebrity crush right now? Because it's different.
We already briefly spoke about him, Heath Ledger. Obsessed. Once I saw 10 Things I Hate About You, obsessed.
Really, that was the first film we watched of him.
I think it was. I think it might have either been that or A Knight's Tale.
A Knight's Tale. I think it was my
It
first was A
might have been
Knight's Tale.
that
Oh
one, but
no, you
I
know what?
I think it was 10 Things I Hate About You.
I think my was Candy.
I haven't
Then
seen
it
that one. I heard
was.
it's really good though.
It's
I
very
haven't seen it
strong.
yet.
It's a lot of, warning, lots of drug usage and addiction.
Yeah.
But I think I first saw him in Candy, and then I saw him Knight's Tale, and then I saw him in The Dark Knight.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, The Dark Knight was like, I was shook. I was like, this is the same man who was romancing Julia Stiles in the
Crazy.
90s. Like, weird. It was, yeah, it was
That's
crazy.
such a good film. It's such a good casting with Joseph Gordon.
Love it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They look so similar too.
I agree. They kind of look like siblings.
Yeah, like they could have played brothers.
For
Easy.
sure.
Okay, love that. Would you rather lose your phone for a week or your voice for a week?
My phone. Easily.
Yeah. You're not
I could live
attached to your
without my
phone.
phone. It'd be good for me, honestly.
Really? Honestly, yeah. Sometimes it's too much. I can't. I'm here playing with Play-Doh. Like my daughter, I just realized she left it here and I'm like, well, um, did you see the Nido mania right now? Do you know what that is?
No, what is that?
Nido is like a stress ball, but they come
Okay.
in different forms and people are looking for needles everywhere. So normally a needle is like what, $6, depending on which one you pay, like 12,
Yeah.
13, $6. People are going to Target, CVS, just looking for needle.
So it's
And
like
they're
a
sold out
Play-Doh, but you
everywhere.
use
Yeah,
it as a stress ball.
it's like a stress ball.
Okay.
But
I
it's
have
like
not
it's
heard of these.
crazy how things it was Labubu last year.
Right. I
Now
know
it's
you were in that
Nido.
craze.
Oh yeah, I was. Oh, I was heavy in
Are
that.
you still in the craze?
I sold them all.
Oh, okay.
No, I sold them all. I was like, what is I think it was more we were talking about this. It was like gambling. I mean, I've never gambled in my life,
Hmm.
and thank God I don't have a gambling problem. But I was imagining like, oh, this is like the because it's like you would have to go to like websites and wait for them to drop. Where's my ring? Oh, it's and you would I forgot to put it on because and my thing was like getting it. When people tell you it's really hard to get this and you're
Right.
like, I'll get it. And you can get it for your daughter. I'll get it for her.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I sold them all. Well, they were still
For the
good because then
best.
they went like this.
I
People
know.
and I never overpriced. You know how people
Hmm.
were selling like one for $60. Maybe I sold maybe two for 60, but the
Yeah.
rest I was like 30. Like it's
Yeah.
fine. I wasn't trying to make money either. It was more of like a exciting thing at the moment for me.
Yeah.
And it was exciting to open it and the blind boxes and
No,
stuff
I
like
get
that.
those. I get the excitement of opening a
Yeah,
blind
it was
box.
very exciting. And now I want a needle, but just one for my
But
stress because I started
they're
biting my
like sought
nails.
after, like ever they're sold out.
Yeah, they're sold out everywhere. Like if you catch one, it's because they just restocked or whatever. But then also you see people going, which had happened with the boo-boos as well. You see people going to like the stores and packing up their like carts with just Nido.
Oh,
And
it's
it's
like
not
for
a blind
what?
box.
For what?
Yeah, it's what is that called? Consumerism?
Consumerism.
Because then that goes where? Because
Like
it's just a fad. It's just like a one moment thing.
this is what the human race is capable of.
I know. We have a lot of time in our hands. Um, okay, you said that. You're not attached to your phone. Good
No,
for
I need
you.
my voice. Oh my God, are you kidding me? I'm a
Yeah.
yapper.
You have a good voice, but you're very
Thank
loud
you.
about the things you care about,
That's
and that
why
I
I
admire.
can't lose my voice.
No.
No.
Never have I ever pretended to like a movie just because everyone else did.
Wait, never have I ever pretended
Pretended
to
to
like a
like a
movie.
movie just because everyone else did.
It's more so that I'm just trying to like not really get into the conversation because like I do have strong opinions on a lot of things, and sometimes I just don't want to fully engage in the conversation. So I say, yeah, yeah, it was good,
Yeah,
just so that I don't have to
I know.
really get into it.
And it depends who you're talking to too.
Exactly, exactly.
Sometimes like I really enjoyed diving into the whole conversation about the director of the film of Fifth Element, but that's
Hmm.
not something I would normally do with just
Right.
anyone because it just depends. Like I feel like when it doesn't come from like a this thing, versus like,
Hmm.
you know what I found out? Like, let's talk
Hmm.
about it because I love talking about conspiracy and it just depends who
Same.
I'm like talking to. Um, sorry again. Would you rather only communicate
Mm.
in movie quotes or song lyrics?
Um, movie quotes.
Movie quotes.
Movie quotes.
Love that. Love that. Would never have I ever Googled myself.
Oh, I've definitely Googled
You
myself.
have. So
Oh,
have I.
yeah.
It's so
What's
crazy.
popping up?
Have
What do
you
people
seen
see?
anything crazy?
No, I mean, it's always, like, related to acting, my website, my social media, maybe some, like, photos, I'm like, "Oh my god, that's online," but nothing crazy,
Yeah, nothing like wild that you're like, This needs to be taken down." I have one thing,
you
but
know?
I can't say it. It's not what people would think. I'll
Tell me
tell you.
after, tell me after.
Yeah. Um, what is one cause you would drop everything for?
A cause? A cause. Meaning, like, this is my new life, this is what I'm committing my whole life to. Um, I'm, like, super passionate about, like, workplace rights, like, when people are taken advantage of at work, like, we are
Mm.
so much more than our jobs. That's what
Yeah.
I think that's what I would be like a crusader for workers' rights.
He just reminded me of this thing that was like this man had passed away and he never took up like his what is that called, like when you take your days off.
Yeah, like, he never did
He
PTO
never,
or whatever?
yeah, he never did that. And they replaced him so quick. You know, like they're always going to have someone to take your place. But I think your
Yeah,
mental health and your health in general matters way more. And
yeah.
just like, what are you worth and how does your, work? I saw
I
this
mean, we work
TikTok.
most our lives.
Yeah, I saw this TikTok of a young girl working at Hollister yesterday. And her manager was had cops waiting for her at the end of her shift because
My.
she was demanding that like in her check there was this hour she had worked and they hadn't paid her for it. So they decided to kind of like humiliate her or like embarrass her instead of getting paid for the hours she made. So she asked everyone to comment like Hollister, Hollister, Hollister. I wonder if things got solved. I hope they did. But it's just so
And it's like, it's
wild
an
to
hour
think.
of work. You can't pay me for
Yeah,
that?
it's so
Yeah.
interesting. Um, what's a hill you will die on?
So many.
The most recent one.
Um, the hill I will die on is that this is gonna be controversial,
Is
but
it?
Sophie Turner should not be the new Lara Croft.
Who's Sophie Turner?
She's the new Lara
Let me
Croft. She's the
see.
one from Game of Thrones. She played the sister of Jon Snow.
No, freak. Isn't that the Jonas ex-wife?
Yes, yes, Joan Jonas's ex-wife.
I didn't know this, that she was gonna be the new Lara Croft. Oh yes, look at that new
Yeah.
look. They need to stop. It's like so it's not controversial at all. I mean, no offense to them. Beautiful woman. I mean, wow. But
She
Angelina
doesn't have the
Jolie.
essence. She doesn't have the
Mhm.
essence.
Oh, and also is the first, not that it matters, but blonde Lara
Okay.
Croft.
What'd
And
you say about blonde? Sorry.
no, I thought Lara Croft was brunette,
She is.
but now she's gonna, okay. They're trying to do
She's
like a
like
whole new look,
she's like a brunette with, like, a red tinge, but they're, like, really
right?
going in on the red color, but she just doesn't have the essence, and, like, the Tomb Raider IP is so ripe, like, there's so many directions you can take it in, and they constantly fail.
Yeah, the last time they had this actress, which I love, but
Alicia Vikander.
Sweden, yeah,
She's great, I love her,
she's
but she just
great,
is
but
not.
I think,
But they were casting her for the new, like, that specific era of Tomb Raider, which was the Survivor era, which
mhm.
she kind of suited,
Yeah, okay,
but the Survivor era is not. I'm not partial to it in any
yeah.
way.
I just, Angelina Jolie all day.
Yeah.
First one. The second one I liked, but the first one where
The
you see
second one
her
is like,
like
I can't even finish that one. The second one is
I
so.
know. I don't remember the second one that much, but I do remember the first one and I sometimes go and look
Well,
at scenes from it.
they gave her a romance in the second one.
Oh yeah,
My god, since
which I don't
when
think
is
she
Lara Croft
needed.
romantic?
Yeah, I don't think she needed at all.
Not at
And I think maybe
all.
that's why we didn't like it. We're like, she's too busy right now.
No,
Who's Lara
dead
Croft?
ass. There's bigger things to
um
worry about.
um last question. What does making a difference look like to you in your day-to-day life?
Making a difference to me is showing up for yourself so that you can show up for others.
That's beautiful.
I recently shared a quote from Bjork, where she was like, "The more selfish you are, the more generous you are."
I've never
And
heard that.
you have to fill your own cup in order to share the water.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's
I
just
get that.
what was the question again? Sorry. It was,
What is it? What is it? What is it? Wait, what? What does making a difference look
making a
like to you?
difference.
Like day on day to day.
I mean, you have to make a difference within your own community in order to make a difference out in the world. It can't be
Yes.
something, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like unreachable, you
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like being kind and being
To our
empathetic.
friends,
I
to our
think that's
family, to
like,
our
yeah,
neighbors.
even to a stranger, sometimes like
I
s-
know it's made a difference in my life when a stranger is kind to me. Like, I
same
can only
here.
imagine it's the same way the other way around.
Yeah, I remember going to Target one day and no one smiled back when I smiled at them, and I was
No.
so amazed
It
by that.
hurt.
And I was like, that's because it didn't really affect me in the way
Right.
that I'm like, oh my gosh, they didn't
It's
want to
just
like smile.
noticeable.
I'm thinking about them.
Yeah.
Like, wow, that's a rough moment
Like,
to not.
why can't you
And I
smile
just
back?
always remember that day because it was normally you'll get one smile,
Mhm.
but that day was so specific. And then also, I think social media and news and all of it has everyone so alert. Sometimes you're like, I don't know if I can smile at this person. Sometimes it's
Mhm.
just a smile. And we need to focus on more positive things, I think, but that we
We have
can
to show up for the people that we're
show
around.
up. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I love this conversation with you.
Me too.
I love to finally get to do this, and I can't wait for you to come to Miami so you
I
can
would
come
love
to the
to.
studio
I want to.
and be there in person at Cultura Media House. Thank you, Cultura Media House, for always, backing me up and giving me the space to do this that I love. Thank you to Cultura TV. Thank you to Harley for showing up today and giving me some time of your day. And I can't wait to see what you do next. Um, I'm very proud of you moving to New York and accomplishing everything you've accomplished and still going at it and not giving up. It's like the
Thank
whole,
you.
it's very admirable. And yeah, last thing is, what would you tell your younger self?
Um, don't don't let other people's opinions dictate who you are. Excuse me. Let me grab some water.
I love that. I'll grab some coffee for energy. I'm exhausted today.
Basically, don't let other people's opinions dictate who you want to be.
I love that. And with that, thank you guys for watching. Um, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.